Hey everybody, Keenan Phillips here, and with me I have a very special guest, Mr. Scott Coking, Director of Metal. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be here.
So Scott actually engineers every steel shaft we have. He's our steel shaft engineer. He's the brains behind our new shafts, our Project XLS, and then what we have today, our Project X IO. So IO, for people who don't know, stands for individually optimized. So that means the 5.5, the 6.0, the 6.5, they're each going to have different weights and different profiles to them to be specifically engineered for that type of player that's going to fit. So Scott, can you talk a little bit about that and how you came up with each weight and each profile?
Absolutely, and that is a great analogy. And it has a little, this shaft series has a little bit of DNA from the old PXI shaft, which was a great selling shaft for us, and it had some unique looks too. But what we've done here is, as you said, we've modified the weight for every flex. So the 5.5 is 105 grams. Very light, very easy to hit. It's going to hit that mid to high trajectory. Then as we go to the 6.0, it goes a little bit heavier. It's 110 grams. Ball flight comes down just a little bit. And then we have the 6.5, which is 115 grams, which hits it just a little bit lower. But all have a very unique feel and a very smooth feel.
They do have a really smooth feel, like you were saying. Me and you were up at our test center a couple weeks ago. And so Scott has IO in the bag and has for a little bit, just a perk of being an engineer. But I actually swung your 7 iron, and IO maybe necessarily isn't fitted for me, but it felt really smooth on the downswing, felt really great. I think that's what a lot of players are going to notice from IO, specifically when comparing it to other Project X products.
Absolutely, and while we were testing, we were doing the LS testing at the same time, which is a totally different shaft for this, really meant for a high swing speed and somebody who probably needs to hit the ball a little bit lower. This is kind of the opposite. This is a lighter, very easy to swing, probably a little slower swing speed in that maybe 70 to 80 mile an hour 7 iron speed. Very tip flexible, and with all the different parameters we've got for the weights and the different flexes, it's really suited for somebody out there.
Yeah, and so it's a really unique product, once again, from, like you said, the individually optimized standpoint, it being different in LS. So with LS, we had a lot of tour testing, obviously robot testing. How did you test IO from a robot sense specifically for having different profiles, different flexes, different weights and all that?
Right, and when we have a claim, when we say the trajectory changes, we really need to validate that. So the robot does a very consistent swing. We can set it to whatever we want, and we can prove out that. But the robot can't give us feel. So that's when we get the player testing involved, and we do the same thing. We record their data, but we're also getting the comments back from them. How does this feel? And the robot shows exactly what we wanted with the launch and spin data for this series. And then the players reacted the same way, except they can tell us that this shaft feels very, very good.
So you've mentioned the data, you mentioned how it feels, but let's be honest, people care about how it looks. So IO has a really cool finish to it, LS has a really cool finish to it. It's what we call our brushed chrome finish. How did we come upon that down in Amory, Mississippi, so our manufacturing plant? I know it was a little bit of a workaround for us, but it came out really great. And what's the secret sauce behind that?
It is. So it's a combination of the steel that we're using, the pre-processing before we put the nickel chrome on there, and it's also the type of finish we're putting on there. So it ends up with a nice brushed chrome look. Non-glare finish, looks really good inside, but it looks even better out on the golf course. You got to try it. And then these bold cosmetics we've got are really, really unique and good looking.
No, it is a good looking shaft. It's a good looking family of shafts in general, so our IO and LS. And once again, it's just a shaft for the masses. It's the individually optimized story, makes a lot of sense, and it's a product that we're really excited about. So if it sounds like a product that's going to be good for you guys, if you want that Project X feel, Project X stability, but just maybe a little more friendly shaft, a little softer, we really recommend giving Project X IO a look. So you can find Project X IO through our True Temper Performance Fitting Centers.